Hello friends, Wild Willie here, your personal guide to outdoor adventure. And with me as always is my friend Jeffrey. Say hello, Jeffrey. Jeffrey and I got our Easter eggs eaten last week, and we got them home, got them cleaned, and Cora wouldn't let us cook them in the house, so we cooked them outside. I got to tell you, they weren't very good. They kind of soured my stomach just a little, but anyway, we got through all of that, and this week our outdoor adventure is going to be on the periods of time that paleontologists study in prehistoric history, and they study it based on the layers of rock and the rate of sedimentation. And you can see behind me is some Missouri limestone. You probably didn't know this, but limestone was invented right here in southern Missouri. We're just outside of the town of Branson, Missouri, near a town called Branson Creek. And here Branson Creek is a good example of Missouri limestone in its layers of sedimentation. And so we're going to talk about some of these different layers and the names of them and what happened during those periods of time. Now you see down here early, before man got here and God had created the earth, this stuff is nice and clean and firm and solid. There's a good example of it right over here where you can see nice and clean before man got here to screw everything up. And then later on, when man started showing up, this layer right here is the early man, and he was just now starting to build tools. Now this layer down here is called, in paleontologist terms, and paleontologists are people who study bugs, I think, or something like that. But anyway, this period down here is called the Nomanus period, because there weren't any men, just women around, and men came later. And then when the men showed up, they started inventing tools, and you can see they began to chip away at some of life, and so this is called the genius period, because man had finally showed up and brought his genius and intelligence, and women began to progress a little bit and learn. And then as we go on up, you see this darker layer here. Now this darker layer is the Marlboro period. And it was because man invented cigarettes, which, by the way, you may not know this, but cigarettes were invented right here in southern Missouri in a little town called Jasper Junction, not too far from here. But anyway, this period is very narrow because men didn't live very long because they smoked a lot of cigarettes and died. And then on up here, the next layer is very rough and crooked and uneven, and that's called the marijuana period, because man began to smoke marijuana and really didn't have any idea what he was doing. And then from there on up, what you see is basically the modern times, and there's just all kinds of weird stuff going on. Bad politics. You got Republicans and Democrats and all of that stuff going on. So you can see it's just messed everything up terrible. So anyway, just a little history lesson on the periods of time both in prehistoric and historic periods of time for man. And I just want you to learn to study this stuff, because once we learn what has happened in history, then we can we can do better in our future once we know the mistakes we've made from history. So, all right, well, I'm glad you got to join us for this week's Wild Willie Outdoor Adventure. And get out in the great outdoors and have your own outdoor adventure. Until next time, this is Wild Willie and Jeffrey saying so long.